gaze. "You there." I looked ahead. Inspector Han stood in the near distance, watching me from beneath the wide brim of his black police hat. The string of beads threaded on the chin strap trembled in the gusty rain. Behind him was his team of men, who must have arrived at the scene before us. 2 officers, a coroner's assistant, a legal clerk, and a police artist. I hurried toward the inspector, while the 6 officers who had traveled with me exchanged information among themselves, murmuring in my periphery. "Found by a watchman." "When?" "He was patrolling the south gate, and at the end of his watch, there she was." I gathered my hands before me and bowed to Inspector Han, deeper than was necessary. He was one of the few worthy enough to see the top of my head. He was to me the great spotted leopard from my village, the speedy and well-muscled hunter who excelled at climbing and jumping, and in slipping silently through the grass with scarcely a ripple. "You called for me, Inspector?" I said. "Have a look at her." He gestured at a lump a few paces away. I walked into the vast shadow of the wall that enclosed Hanyang, the capital of Joseon. Its height blocked out the sight of mountains, and it was so thick that an invader might take 1,000 years to chip through the massive stones. Yet dangerous as the world outside the fortress was, clearly, danger lurked within as well. My stomach turned to water as I stood before a young woman. She lay sprawled, drenched in rain, her face turned to the ground. Her long dress and jacket of a silky, ramy cloth, the hem and sleeves richly embroidered with floral patterns, marked her as a noble. "Roll her over," Inspector Han ordered. "We have yet to see her wound." I stepped over the corpse, crouched, and grabbed her shoulder. This was why the Capitol Police Bureau kept female servants like me. I was an extension of the officers, my hands used by them to arrest female criminals and to examine female victims. An inconvenience for the police, and yet men were forbidden from touching women who were not directly related to them. It was the law, Confucius's law. As I flipped the corpse around, her voluminous skirt whispered, and I almost jumped back when her long, soggy hair clung to my sleeve. "Don't yelp." I closed my eyes, panic thrumming in my chest. Never had I touched a murdered corpse before, having worked at the police bureau for only a few months. I sucked in a deep breath and peeled the damp strands off me, then forced my gaze down again. Blood stained her white collar. A deep gash with puckered edges stretched across her pale throat. A cloudy film covered her eyes, and a bloody cavern was dug into her face, a staring hole like that of a skeleton where her nose once was. "Stabbed in the neck," Inspector Han said. He gestured to the tassel-like ornament tied to the victim's skirt. "No one has stolen the norige, and the jewel pin is still in her hair. This is no robbery. What is that under her left shoulder?" I lifted the shoulder. A small bloody knife with a silver handle. I looked back at the norige, hanging from the victim. Upon closer examination, I noticed there was a silver pedo, ornamentally knotted to the norige, and it was missing a knife. My hands moved of their own accord, taking the murder weapon and slipping it into the turquoise stone-encrusted sheath. "It belonged to her," the inspector whispered, a frown in his voice. "Give that to the clerk." I did so, stunned that the victim's own decorative knife had resulted in her death. "Now look for her identification tag." "Nay." I patted the corpse, buried my hand into her skirt, and discovered a yellow tag of poplar wood. By law, everyone in the Joseon kingdom had to carry one. There were characters engraved onto the wood, likely indicating the bearer's name, place of birth.